Right, we'll move on. Martin, you've been in a budget committee court of auditors.
Yeah, I just want to get across to the Brexit box viewers back home the work we do out here. Everybody in this room has been to these meetings to shine a light on the true inner machinations of the European Union, and more to the point, where they spend our money and where it's wasted. Yesterday was a magnificent example. A 340-page report came out. It was the European Court of Auditors report. So it's where they audit their own budget for the entire year of 2018. And guess what? They audit it themselves. Yay! So first of all, the commissioners audit it. There's a very impressive German commissioner who was being very Germanic.
Right.
And then MEPs also do it. It's not independently audited at all, which surely would say, well, hang on a minute, isn't that room for corruption, or at least wastage?
God
the answer, of course, is yes. We found out 4 billion euros has been lost down the back of the sofa.
No.
And they said, well, hang on a minute, that's only 2.6%. It was 2.4% wastage the year before, so they're becoming more wasteful. They don't know where it's gone. And here's the thing. 885 million euros goes from the EU to their version of overseas aid. And the moment it goes to countries outside of the EU has no power to audit national accounts. It's literally money that leaks out like a sieve. And when we delved even further, we found out something truly horrific. 80.5 billion euros of pension liabilities for the EU for 2018. This is the gravy train. Every single MP...
Yeah, how much for the pension? What was it? It was staggering, wasn't it?
80.5 billion euros. 1/3 of the entire EU budget for future pension for MEPs, staff, and also healthcare benefits. Now, Michael Heaver, my Brexit brother, gave a great speech on this yesterday, and we were not only the only two Brexiteers in the room, we were the only 2 British MEPs in the room. There were no Conservatives, no Labour, no Lib Dems. They're always desperate to cry about us, wasting money. When billions of euros are being wasted, they were nowhere to be seen. We were there fighting for Brexit, fighting for the Brexit Party, and it's why we're here.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. John Tennant, you've been doing commissioner hearing on new digital tax. I saw your speech.
Yes, but she's the new Danish commissioner. She's not exactly new. She's been a commissioner before. But one particular element in there, every commissioner receives a mission letter. And what that is that it's their agenda that they have to act over the 5-year term that they have. And in hers particular, she was looking at a new European digital tax. Now this is, that just says to me it's everything that's wrong with this union. We joined for free trade. We joined for a common market. Yeah. They're suggesting tax at a European level. Yes. So I had a bit of a go about that.
You had a rant.
Did you get a good answer? Because
no, she didn't answer.
No,
well, that's what the question.
No comment.
The best questions never get an answer.
No. But also, I don't think people understand how little time we have.
Of course. Yeah. The ultimate point about this is that implementation of a tax without a mandate is taxation without representation.
Yes. Look what happened,
if she fought an election campaign based on that
century.
mandate, then she might have a chance to say that. But these ideas are coming from unelected people.
Belinda, this is not right.
It just makes my blood boil, the injustice that has been inflicted upon the British people over the entire 3 years. We just voted. We thought it would be respected, and we've had this constant resistance to implementing a democratic vote, that now we're in a constitutional crisis. Now we're all pitting against each other. The European Union could have just said, we respect democracy, let's leave as friends. But instead, they sided with the anti-democrats, for suiting their nature very well, and we're in this position now.
There are 2 things. One, I want to find that sofa with all that cash down the back of it. But secondly, on the way here, actually, you're right about divisions. There are people chanting "Stop Brexit" outside. I can hardly get into this studio.
You know what's really sad, David, is Brexit was not a rejection of Europe or our wonderful European friends ever. It's just not in the UK's democratic interests to remain in the European Union. And it's not. We treasure our democracy in our country. It's not good enough.
That there's a big difference between Europe and the EU.
Yes, exactly.
Massive.
We must remind each other.
Of course,
but it's a trick. They want to conflate any criticism of the EU as if it is a xenophobic reaction against Europeans. It's how they censor and control Eurosceptics, and it's a shameful tactic.
There seem to be a lot of tricks being employed at the moment. Robert, Eurozone economy. I know it's something very close to your heart.
Always special. I'm on the Econ Committee, and I've also done a lot of work on this mysterious bank based in Luxembourg called the EIB, the European Investment Bank. It acts essentially as the lending arm of the Eurozone. We have done what I think is quite proprietary work on this bank and uncovered some real nasties that were in the withdrawal agreement, namely that having put 3.5 billion euros into this thing in 1973, we're only getting back that 3.5 billion in the withdrawal agreement over 12 years. Now we are leaving 7.5 billion behind. The EU have in their negotiating stance would not let us keep that 7.5 billion. In addition to that, it gets even worse that we are liable for any potential, if you like, financial crisis events to prop up the balance sheet of this institution to the tune of 37 billion euros. So we essentially have the credit card open, and it's like an insurance policy that we have to pay.
Even if we leave with no deal?
Even if we leave with no deal, that liability will disappear.
Yes.
Now our stance has always been, and I wrote a piece in the Telegraph last Monday on this, is that we should renegotiate, obviously, on this deal and get all our 11 billion back, and remove ourselves from all the potential liabilities, which could be as high as 500 billion based on this joint and several guarantees.
Are you saying then, Robert, that if we leave with any form of a deal and say there was a Eurozone crisis like Greece Mark II, we'd be coughing up?
We would be coughing up. They have the ability to come back to us. It's called callable capital. In other words, they can prop up their own balance sheet at any time over the next 12 years. Given that I think a Eurozone crisis is imminent, and we've already got Italy and Germany in technical recession, I think that the chances of another Euro crisis are extremely high. And bearing in mind that also during the last financial crisis, the EIB was used to distribute 10% of the funds to prop up Greek small and medium-sized companies, essentially to if you like, offer a sort of moral hazard stroke protection for German and French banks who have got the most exposure to Greece. So it's a very worrying sort of liability that's still within the deal. And back to your point, we are here to find the injustices that exist, and they exist both on a democratic deficit basis, but they also exist within the financial structures of the EU, and we can't be any part of these hidden liabilities.
Quite right.